Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Anas. Today I will present about part A, which is issue in the workplace. The premise that we choose for this study is JS Rim Tire Services that located in Petaling Jaya. There is 5 issues in the workplace regarding to the economic risk factor, which is awkward posture, where it frequently happen during replacing the tire. It may cause problem in the range of body parts, including the hands, wrist, arm, shoulder, neck, back, and knees. Neck is static and sustained work pressure. It happens because of less movement of body that hinder the blood flow required to deliver muscle nutrition and wears from muscle metabolism in the premise. Next is the work exertion. It happens because a greater degree of perceived physical.
I will tell about the procedure to change the rim. The car was placed at the center of the hydraulic lift, then it was raised off the ground. The tire was deflated to jimmy the rim of the wheel by creating room between the rim and the tire rubber. The air gun was used to loose all the fastener that attached to the rim to the car wheel, and then by forcing the rim of the wheel, we need to push outward the rim and the tire. Next, place the new rim with tire on the wheel and fasten the new rim onto wheel using socket or air gun. And the process are continue to change all the 4 rims. For the rim changing, the worker should awkward posture when rolling the tire that could lead to body pain. Second, the worker exposed to the vibration from the air gun. Excessive vibration could lead to hand-arm vibration syndrome. In our observation, the environment was quite noisy. This could harm the earring in the long time. Next, the awkward posture is kneeling position. Kneeling on hard surface will maximize the pressure on the knees. For the balancing and alignment, carpal tunnel syndrome can happen when median nerve, as shown in figure, was pressed or squeezed. The worker also need to tilt their head to perform their task, and this could lead tension on their neck and shoulder.
Now, I will discuss about the ergonomic issues that happen in JS tire. Case 1. The workers always get body, neck and shoulder pain. This was due to improper changing procedure during services. They are usually in squatting posture when changing tire from the car that cause back pain. Then, they also suffered from muscle tears in their neck when checking or fixing the car chamber, which occurred as a result of repeated lifting their arms over their shoulders and repeated head twists as the position of the car was above them. The workers often in kneeling posture to check and inspect the rim. This posture results in muscle pain in the lower back, ankle and knee area due to improper changing procedure and forceful effort. Case 2. According to the information gathered during the interview, the lack of enforcement at the workshop is the root cause of occupational sickness or disease at their workplace. Workers' irresponsibility and lack of knowledge are other problems that contribute to the severity of ergonomic concerns. For example, when the workers at the case study company have received ergonomic training, they still choose to take shortcuts while doing manual handling tasks such as lifting using the incorrect technique when carrying a heavy object. Case 3. A previous study for the investigation of ergonomic risk factor in a JS tire discovered that the majority of the physical risk factors were recognized as working with the hands above the knees, squatting, bending, reaching and kneeling on a hard surface, and also involve lifting more than 10 kg of heavy object and not wearing a hand glove. While working with tools and equipment in the workshop, it is usual for workers to get an injury or be involved in an accident. A small number of workers did not use full personal protective equipment such as gloves, safety shoes and long pants while performing their tasks. Even throughout the working activity, they did not adhere to the instruction while completed their tasks.
For part D, the issue and prevention procedure. There are 3 cases, which is fatigue and discomfort, work-related upper limb muscular disorder, cramping and numbness. The risk factor for case 1 is working for a long period and the air quality. The consequences is can affect performance of the workers and can build poor emotion into working environment. For the prevention is administrative control, can develop a schedule and shift working, and engineering control can design a proper shop layout to be more systematic and neater for peak hours situation. For case 2, risk factor is awkward posture and repetitive motion. The consequences is long-term back pain, stress on muscle and tendons. The prevention is administrative control, designed as SSOP, with a proper PPE as a guideline for the workers to be more aware. For third case, the risk factor is excessive use of muscle, bad posture and non-ergonomic. The consequences is discomfort or soreness in the muscle or joint and loss sensitivity and strength. For the prevention, administrative control can have a short brief exercise to the workers and also can substitute the machine using automatic machine for assemble and disassemble tire and rim.
Next, I will be presenting about the cost of practicing ergonomic design principle at JS Tire. With training and installation of equipments as listed, the cost of practicing ergonomics design principle is RM6,600. This is much lower than the cost of legal fees and expenditures the company has to suffer due to accident and machine downtime, which is could total up to RM19,750 losses if an accident happened, or at least RM6,000 if a machine broke down. First risk factors in JS Tire is awkward posture. To begin with, the body part that involved in the awkward posture is shoulder. Mostly, workers will need to working with hand above their head, especially when they need to repair and checking the chamber of the car. Then they will be working with shoulder raised when they need to change the rims from the car. Lastly, all the shoulders part usually the most part that be used to perform their task and repeatedly used for more than 2 hours. Next, body part that involved in the awkward posture is head. Workers need to working with the head bent downwards more than 45 degrees, especially when they need to repair and inspect the rim that have been removed from the car. Then, workers also working with the head bent backward, especially when repair and checking the chamber of the car. This was because the part of chamber is above their head and they need to bend backward to get the clear vision of the chamber part. Lastly, the workers need to working with head bent sideways, especially when repair and checking the chamber of the car and when to assemble or disassemble the rim from the car. This was because they need to check every part of the car and make sure the process of assemble and disassemble of the rim precisely fit to the screw holes. All the activity were done repeatedly and more than 2 hours a day.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. Next body part is backs. It can occur during working on balancing area and assemble the rim and tire. Workers need to bend their body to read the indicator at the machine. For assemble the tire and rim, they need to bend their body more than 30 degrees and also need to twist their body during this process. Next body part is hand, elbow and wrist. By flexing and extension wrist occurs during checking the car, where the workers need to extend and flex their wrist to checking the leaking on absorber parts. Arm adapted sideways happen when workers repairing the rim, and they need to extend forward their hand for 45 degrees during assemble and disassemble process. And last for the upper posture on body part is neck and knees. When working on lower parts of car body, usually workers squatting and kneeling. For example, during tighten and loosen the screw tire.
By doing the same action repeatedly, such as bending and squatting, can cause back pain and inflammation. Work on repetitive sequence of movement is more than 3 hours per day. In addition, the using of air gun is one of the works involving intensive use of hand and wrist. Since the air gun is one of main work machine, a worker exposed more than 3 hours on a normal work day.
Other than that, the workers at the JS Tire are exposed to the awkward position in a certain period of time. Head, neck, trunk, arm and wrist are involved in this position. The main activities that cause this awkward position are tire assembly, braking services and at balancing machine. Workers are also exposed in forceful exertion situation where a load is overweight from recommended at between floor to mid-lower leg body parts. Push, pull and lift and lower of tire is the main activity that cause forceful exertion situation.
The conclusion of this study, it is essential to adhere to ergonomic norms in the workplace. It is because all the area of industry are implementing ergonomics rules and policies, and it is likely that this policy will become obligatory in the near future for the good of all employees. In order to put ergonomic policy into practice, all employees must consider how they work, routines, and attitudes during working hours. And last one is employees' productivity can be increased as a consequence of having an ergonomic working environment. And the organization will save money and increase the return of investment in near future as a result of economic practice. That's all from us. Thank you.